So as I'm recording this, it is currently October 2023, and I have just finished my tutorial series on this channel about making my 3D block game or 3D block racer game. And then I was watching a video on the channel Coding Quests on YouTube, and I noticed that this creator's materials were mentioned. And I took a look at them and I thought, oh man, I really need to make a game about this stuff. And then it just so happened that the Game Dev Field Guide is hosting by Zaccavelli is hosting their monthly Game Jam number 29 right now. And it had just started that day. And so I decided I'm going to sign up for this game jam. I'm going to make a game based on these assets. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do? What is this game going to be about? And, just taking a look through, I mean, of course it's October. There's these Halloween bits, Spooktober, all this stuff. It looks really, really cool. Um, so I thought, okay, well, I've got to make something Halloween themed. And so I came up with, and it's also got to be a game jam game, right? So it's not going to be super long. But I thought, what should we do? Well, here's this witch, and I thought, well, it would be kind of fun to have a game where the witch's broom, something's happened to the witch's broom, like it's been stolen by some monster. So I was looking through the characters and I thought, okay, this barbarian looks kind of cool. Maybe you're the barbarian and she has you, go get her broom for her. So that's what the game is going to be about. And so I haven't done a whole lot yet, but I thought I'd just quick run through as a devlog what I've done so far. And then I'm going to, keep creating this devlog series just to run through how it's going, what's going on. So here's what we've got so far. This is the way I normally design stuff at first is I just make a playground scene, get things working the way I want them, and then once everything's working, then I move on to actually building what I really want. So all this is, I've got this simple library of meshes that I have added collision shapes and bodies to. Um, what I started with is I started by pulling in a bunch of assets all at once and then tried to use them, and for whatever reason that just failed. I don't know what happened, but it just didn't work. So I've had to nix that, and I'm just going to pull in assets one by one, add them to the library, save the mesh library, and then since it's all going into one place, this just automatically gets updated. So it's got uh, meshes. They have each of them has a static body as well as a collider that Godot has already automatically created. So the other thing I know I'm going to want to do is kind of make this in a Metroidvania style. So you're going to need to collect items in order to progress to a next area and then revisit areas. And so basically the plan right now is to have the starting sort of Halloween area. Then you're going to go out into sort of just a field, run across the field to a castle. You're going to fight some enemy in the castle to get a cape. Let me see. So the barbarian it comes with all this cool stuff. So let's see. Let's get out of camera preview. So I'm just going to have the barbarian start with basically like no equipment. He's going to find his axe, and then once he finds his axe, he's going to find a mug. So you can see we can enable and disable those. So he's going to find the axe, he's going to find the mug. You're going to be able to use the mug kind of like an Estus flask in Dark Souls to heal. Then he's going to find at some point his hat. He'll find his cape. His cape will allow him to double jump. So in the castle, there will be some upper level and a dungeon. When you find the cape will let you double jump so that you can get high enough to get to the upper level, fight some other enemy, get a key. Once you get the key, you'll be able to go to the basement or the dungeon, and there fight like a final boss, and then collect the broom, then take it back to Witch Margaret. So pretty simple, but I mean, it's a game jam game. It can't go too far, right? So I know I'm going to need some inventory system, and I'm going to need to have that be an auto load so that it can preserve the state of the game transitioning between scenes. I don't really know how much can be loaded at one time, but I also just want to make different scenes just to sort of keep things organized. So I'm going to have some doors or whatever to transition between things. So I implemented some logic, and I don't know if this is the best way to do this, but it's the way I decided to do it. Just taking a look at our script, I have a scene manager, and what I'm going to do in order to transition between scenes, this is basically the code that is in the Godot docs for transitioning between scenes, so I'm doing it this way. I don't know if this is the best way to do it or not. The other thing, though, is in my scene manager, I'm just tracking, let's see. Oh yeah, so let's see, path. Oh no, it's not being done in scene manager. What? How am I doing this? I think it's all being done in the player script. How am I doing this? Oh no, it's in the level scripts. That's what it is. So yeah, scene manager. Oh yeah, I do record the position. So yeah, I say position equals start at the start of the game. So I'm just using this position value to track where I am, because if a scene has multiple doorways like we have in the playground scene, what I want is if I go out the left door, then go to a different scene, then come back. When I come back, I want the player to come back through that door, or if he goes out the right door and then out to some scene and back, then I want him to appear in the right door. So I was thinking, well, how am I going to do that? Well, what I'm doing, I'm basically giving each of these interfaces between scenes a name. And then when the player transitions there, it records the player's position as the name of that interface. Then when the level loads, so if I go to my, okay, so here's my playground scene. So when the level loads, if the position is just start, then we start at the start position. If it's at, this is the name, this is a really confusing name, but it makes sense to me, so that's fine. Playground left, right door, meaning the right door of playground left to playground left door. So this is the name of the scene, and this is the name of the doorway. And I'm just going to name each of the things this. Now, right now, I just have playground right door, and that just literally connects right back to the playground scene, and I did that just to test it. So the other thing I've done is I've made the player kind of smoothly turn based on movement, and I've also made the enemy look at the player. What I'm going to do is, you know, when like I'm going to have an area 3D for the enemy, and if the enemy has seen the player, then the enemy is going to constantly look at and move towards the player. And I'm going to design some different logic to handle that, but whatever. So the other thing I've done is created an inventory system. That's the thing I've most recently finished. So that is also an autoloader, so it doesn't look too pretty yet, but when you get near a treasure chest, the treasure chest sends a signal to the player that says, you know, you can open me now. And so then if you hit the action button, you can open the treasure chest and get the contents. So now I have the axe. Now I'm going to go to the next scene. So I appear here. I'm going to make it so that you actually appear rotated in the right way as well. I just haven't implemented that yet. It'll be a few lines of code. So now here's another treasure chest. The scene obviously is a different scene. This is my playground left scene because it's to the left of the playground and it's still a playground. And now if I hit open this chest, nothing appears to happen, but I have just collected the mug. So now if I hit right, I should just make it on action just pressed instead of on action pressed. But basically you can see I have the mug, and then I can go back to the axe. So so I can transition between them, and then if I you know, once I get the whole thing implemented, like the animations tree built, then I'll be able to either use the axe to attack the enemies or drink from the mug and restore my health. There's some other cool stuff in here, like there's barrels, and so I'm gonna have it where you can. The barrels are basically going to be bonfires in Dark Souls, so you're gonna refill your mug, and it'll reset all the enemies except boss enemies to the extent I have many of those. And it'll fill up your life and sort of save the state of the game right there. So then if you die, it'll, you know, restart your game right there. So, so there's a lot to do, but I have until, I believe, October 12th, or I'm sorry, November 12th. See, where's that? Yeah, so November 12th. So it's currently October 11th, so I have just a month and a day to finish this. So it's ambitious, but I'm looking forward to the challenge. I mean, with all the art already done and just having to like do this stuff, like I've literally been working on this like a day or two. So so it's exciting and I'm looking forward to it. So that's all for right now. If you would like any further explanation or tutorials or anything, let me know. I'd be happy to go through stuff in more detail. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.